when should I go for group by clauses? Say if I want to display the data saying that I have so many number of male employees and so many number of female employees. So whenever I have the concept of grouping, so if I want to count number of males and number of females in a single query, I need to make two groups, one group of male, another group of females. In the same way, if I want to count the number of employees in each department, I need to make groups according to the department. I'll say this is department 1, so number of employees in department 1, department 2, number of employees in department 2, so on. So whenever I have the concept of grouping the people and performing some aggregate functions on them, like count, say I want to find the amount of salary being paid to each department, so I need to group it by department. Say department 1, I will sum all the salaries of all the employees of department 1, department 2, and I'll sum the salaries of all the employees of department 2. So whenever I want to perform some aggregate operations depending upon a condition, then I go for group by clauses, like finding the sum of salaries to each department, average salaries to each department, number of employees in each department. Say if I have an online shopping cart application, I want to count the number of customers from each city. So there are plenty of examples that you can take where you need group by clause, and it is very simple. Now what I want to write a query which should display me gender, say male and number of males, female and number of females. So I'll say select e gender from tbl underscore employee. This will give me male, female, male, female, all the genders. Now if I say comma count of star as number of employees and execute this, let's see what it says. It throws an exception saying that invalid select statement because either an aggregate function or the group by clause. Select list because it is not either in aggregate function or in group by clause. It says that you cannot have one column and an aggregate function without group by clause. If you want, you can only have aggregate function which counts all the employees, or if you want, you can have only column which displays all the genders. But if you are going for this combination, you should definitely group it by the column name, whatever you have there. And let's see the result. It says female there are 3, male there are 7. This is very simple, the concept of group by clause. Whenever you have a normal column and an aggregate function, you should always go grouping it by the column. Now let me copy this, paste it here. If I say instead of count sum of e salary as sum of salaries, execute this, it will give me female is getting so much amount of salaries and males, the sum of salary of all the males is this. Copy this, paste it here. Now instead of sum, if I take average, I can get the average salaries of all the employees, and comma if I put even this, which says counting the number of employees. Now I have female and the average salary is so and so, and there are so many number of females. Male average salary is so and so, and there are so many number of males. Now I'll copy this, paste it here, execute this. This will show me gender and number of employees of that particular gender. If I add DID here, that is nothing but DEPID, sorry, DEPID, DPTID, and execute this, it should throw an exception, it should throw an error saying that DPTID should be in group by clause or it should be in aggregate function. So I'll simply put DPTID also in group by clause and execute this. Let's see what it says. That's good. I have 2 employees whose department is null, and in department 1000 the number of females are 1. In department 1000 number of males are 3. In department 1001 number of females are 1. In department 1001 number of males are 3. That means I have a group and a subgroup. First of all, I am splitting all the departments. So department 1, department 2, department 3, and each department I am splitting 2 groups. One is males and females. So in this way I can extend this thing to any level. I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subgroups as per my requirement. This is very simple, group by clauses. Now I'll just copy this, paste it here, execute this. I'm getting the sum of salaries. If I want to arrange it as per the sum of salaries, and if I say order by SOS and execute this, so it has arranged it in the order ascending, that is minimum salary is on top. If I say DESC, now I'll get the highest sum of salary on top. So I can order it in this way. Now if I want the sum of salaries of only males, I can definitely put a where clause here, where E gender equals to male, but it gives a red line. Let's see what it says. Incorrect syntax near where. So do remember that whenever you have a where clause and group by clause combination, where clause should always come before group by clause. Now I'll execute this. I'll get the sum of salaries of only males. If I write F, I'll get the sum of salaries of only females. Now I'm putting a where clause on employee gender. Now if I want the sum of salaries of those gender whose sum of salaries is greater than 30,000, so if I write SOS greater than 30,000, it is not at all going to work. Why? Aliasing column can be used in order by clause, but aliasing column cannot be used in where clause. So what is that I should do? Aliasing column, which is generated from aggregate functions, can never be used with where clause. I should use it with having clause. Having, and I should use the aggregate function as it is here, sum of employee salary is greater than 30,000, and let me execute this. that is male. So do remember, where clause is used to filter the columns, whereas having clause is used to filter those columns that we have generated using some functions, some aggregate functions. So I can use having clause, and this order is very important. And here I'll say where e gender is equals to male. Now I have two conditions. They should be male and the salary should be greater than 30,000. Definitely I'll get this record. Just for your understanding, I have used all the clauses in this. I have where clause, I have group by clause, I have having clause, I have order by clause. So whenever I have all these clauses, this order should be followed. I should have where clause first, followed by group by clause, then having clause, then order by clause. So I normally use this formula, WGHO, which means where group by having order by. So no confusions. In the interview they may confuse you, asking questions like, can I have group by clause after having clause, can I have where clause after order by clause, and xyz blah blah blah. So do remember, this order is very important. So in this way you can use group by clauses. Thank you very much.